Welcome back to Blazer Bites. I'm your host, Ryan, and today we are here with representatives of the GEHS band.
I'm Matthew Bryan. I'm a junior and I'm a drum major.
My name's Alexa Reeder. I'm also a junior and I'm also a drum major.
Okay, so I know you both are drum majors,
Mm-hmm.
but what is the job of a drum major? Like, what do you do?
I'll let you answer that.
Okay. As drum majors, we are up in front of the band, the marching band, every single day. We are the ones that conduct them through all of the songs, and basically we'll lead some warm-ups sometimes and just make sure that they're all staying together and with each other. And then if you conduct like basketball games, you get to pick what songs they play, and yeah, just being a leader for the whole marching band.
We're kind of like we bridge the gap between the members of the marching band and like the directors themselves. So we're kind of that bridge.
Nice. And so you said warm-ups. What are warm-ups for the band?
So a lot of them include like scales, a lot of things with playing the instrument itself, and like marching techniques and fundamentals like when to step forward, how to step forward. Like the first couple weeks of band camp during the summer is literally just hours upon hours of how to march correctly. So a lot of our warm-ups combine both of those, so they just get a quick refresher before we start into like actually working on our show.
And so what is the marching band? Like, how is it different from like the band in like itself? Like what is the difference basically?
So marching band, I feel like is more, I say more focused towards the audience that you're playing to. You're more trying to put on a show, especially now with our past shows like in recent years, is we're really trying to make it more entertaining for the audience. And there's just more you have to think about. It's more technical, it's more physical, and you're spending a lot more time to perfect a show instead of just when you're sitting down in concert band in the spring semester. You're still focusing on playing your instrument and it's still challenging, but you're not focused on moving and having good sound at the same time.
Right. Right. So I know you guys do morning practices. How do you feel about morning practices?
I like morning practices. I don't like waking up for morning practices. So I have a bad habit of like usually hitting the snooze and going back to sleep. So I get myself up at about 6 because rehearsal is at 7. Drive to the high school, sit in the parking lot till 6:30. Maybe fall asleep in my truck if I really feel like it, or just go in at 6 and set up all the podiums and get everything ready.
Uh, I can agree with that. It's fun once I'm there. Waking up's tough because, like you said, we're at 7, and especially later in the season, as the season goes on, for the last couple months, we're there before the sun comes up. So you watch the sunrise as you're playing your instrument and walking around on the football field. But it is very, very fun, and you spend so much time at those morning rehearsals with all of your friends and just getting to know people. So I think it's fun because you get to just spend even more time to get better at the things that you put so much time into.
And I bet you guys build like a good connection too. So it's like when you guys are playing, it's like
Absolutely.
you guys, what is it called? Where you like all are in sync. Yeah. So what's your favorite sport to play at?
Ooh.
I like basketball games. I'm just going to say that. I like football games a lot, and getting to the halftime show is super duper fun. And getting to show that to all the fans is really rewarding. But basketball games is a different kind of fun. It's a little more laid back, and you get to talk a little more with your friends, which is really nice. And being a drum major, it's really fun for basketball games because, like I said, we get to pick what songs they get to play. So you get a little more like control over what's happening, and you could kind of pick songs you like to play.
Yeah.
So.
At least for me, I feel like I like the football games better because at least like the first time that I got to lead a basketball game, it was really hard to like try and pick music on the fly and try and remember what we have played and what we haven't. It's kind of why I like football games. So I have it's not that I don't have to think. It's just that I like being up there and getting to both watch the game, be sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to. I just love getting to be up there behind the student section.
Yeah. And you guys hype up the student section a little bit with like cheering and stuff and
especially with these new round of songs that Mr. Proctor has helped compose, arrange. They've been a lot more hype than our last couple.
Yeah.
Yes, when I went to the football games, I just loved hearing the band in the back. Like I'm just like, yeah, like let's go.
Yeah. We try our best.
Yeah. And you guys do great. I saw that what was it? You guys just had auditions for something.
Mm-hmm.
So did either of you audition or
Yes,
Both of us
that's
did.
KMEA. It's
Mhm.
you audition, you get put in a band for like our district with the Olathe schools, the Blue Valley schools. Then once you get into there, you have the chance to audition for all state. So it's all of everybody who's made it there and everybody in the state, and you compete to
see who's like
yeah.
the best?
Mm-hmm.
So I know you guys are drum majors, but what instrument did you play before you got the title?
So in marching band, my freshman and sophomore year, I played clarinet, and that's the instrument I started out with in 5th grade when I started band.
Oh.
My main instrument is bassoon, and it's not very well known. A lot of people don't actually know what it is, but it's more orchestral, and I think it's really fun. It's really different. So I'm the only one that plays it in band, but I really like the sound of it. That's what I auditioned on. And then I also play saxophone in jazz band, which I
Wow.
just started this year.
I played tuba.
Oh.
So I started on trombone. I really, really didn't like trombone. So to move up an instrument, you in middle school you had to do all this homework to do so. So I did like 2 years worth of homework so I could move instruments because I just disliked the trombone that much. And so from about like 6th or 7th grade on, I've just been playing tuba, and now I've been trying to learn baritone, relearn trombone again. But I auditioned on tuba.
Well, you guys are very versatile. I can't even play one instrument. Like, ding, on the piano, that's all I got. Um, so I know you guys already kind of went into it, but can you give me more detail on like how being a drum major is different from being in the band? Well, I guess you are in the band, but like, how is it? What is the difference?
It's really hard because you're not really in a position of like you're not the authority figure, but you're also not like just a member of the band. So you're trying to ride that very fine line of I'm your friend, but I'm also your boss too.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's more the difference of just focusing on trying to be a good role model for everybody, and you want to have fun because it's still your high school experience in band, and we have so much fun, but also focus on, okay, what do I need to do in order to make sure that everybody else is doing what they're supposed to be doing, and if other people are like disagreeing with something that's happening between if it's something the band directors are saying or if it's just something they don't want to do, we have to try to help keep everybody together and focused on the same goal.
Right.
So.
And also, like, if there's like disagreements, you gotta like
Yeah.
sort that out and stuff, right?
Especially by the end of the season, everybody's kind of getting tired.
Yeah.
So
So, what got you into band, or who inspired you to be in band?
So my family has a long line of brass players. My uncle was a tuba player for the army band. My grandmother plays the baritone. My dad played the tuba. My mom played the flute and the tuba. So
You're just a generational band kid.
just a generational band kid. So I after like I figured I didn't really like the trombone, I just decided to pick up on the tuba, and it was just kind of like love at first sight with all
Yeah.
the lovely music. I love the tuba so much.
Like a second hand, just like you. It's like it was just natural
Yeah.
to you. Nice.
I got it from, so my parents also did band. They more did it just like in middle school though. But my sister, she is 2 years older than me, and she played violin.
Mm.
So then when I was going in, and I was in 4th grade, and they bring in all the instruments, you get to try them all out. I'm like, well, I know I really want to play an instrument. But so just trying them all out, I decided on clarinet. And then being in middle school with Mr. Davidson at the high school now, he just really inspired me to want to keep improving, and I always really liked being in class with him.
Yeah.
So I had a really good time just in band, and I never just wanted to stop.
Yeah. Plus those connections with those teachers are really important to get you to like, or to help you continue on. What would you say is the hardest instrument to play? Even if you haven't played it yourself, but the hardest instrument to play and learn.
Oboe or bassoon? Be-
Mm-hmm.
Oboe or bassoon because so like brass has like a mouthpiece that you buzz through that makes sound. Clarinet has one reed that you buzz through, it makes sound. Double reeds have two of them put together, and I've noticed that for at least double reed players, you're either good at it or you suck. There's no in between. And not only that, there's just so many keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I have 4. I can't complain.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of talk about bassoon a little bit and difficulty with double reeds. My answer was going to be probably French horn. I've never
Oh.
played it. I would love to learn it. Basically, I don't know very much about it, but it's a brass instrument like tuba, but it's so different because you have to have one hand in the bell of the instrument. And there's a specific key you can hit or like a trigger, and it's basically a two-sided instrument, and if you're holding down this little trigger, you basically have 2 different instruments in your hand at one time. And I have no idea how to play it, and it sounds very complicated and scary to me. And it's kind of similar to what he was saying about oboe and bassoon, is you're either really good at it or it's really, really hard and you're not very good at it. So I would love to figure out more about it. But yeah, double reeds are complicated. It's so basically how a double reed works is it's 2 pieces of wood, like a clarinet or a saxophone reed, and they're put together, and it basically makes like a little hole, and that's what you blow into, and that's what you put your mouth on, is these 2 pieces of wood. And you can buy them from a store, but they're typically not very good because they're all artificially made, and it's just they're not the best. So professionals make their own, and I'm learning how to do that right now. I've made a couple. It's really difficult. It takes a long time, like hours for just one. But if you buy them, they cost like $20 per thing, and if you play a lot, it'll last you like 2-3 weeks. But they're really, really, it's really complicated, and like he said about all the keys, bassoon, at least, I think oboe key work is fairly similar to like a clarinet, but still complicated with the reed. Bassoon, a lot of keys, especially your thumbs. My right hand, I have 4 keys for my right thumb, and I have 9 keys for my left thumb. So, very different from any other instrument. You figure it out. It sounds more complicated than it really is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like what fits best for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's very impressive. I don't even know how to play one, so like you just like like laying all that knowledge down on me was like, oh, all right, okay.
I've spent a lot of time on it, and
Yeah.
I've also go to private lessons. We both do, but
Mm-hmm.
private lessons are
Oh,
really
yeah.
helpful, and I've learned so much. So
Oh, I take lessons from Mr. Bub up at
Pioneer.
Pioneer. There we go. It was one of the middle schools. But I was like, I have heard so much about him because that same uncle that I have, him and Mr. Bub both played tuba in the same like band together. So I was like, oh God, is he gonna be like, is he gonna be tough? Is he gonna be strict? Like, how is he gonna be? And I walk into the room and he has his feet up on his desk, shoes off, holding a bass in his hand, going, I can learn this. And I'm like, hello, sir. Oh yeah, sit down. I love him so much. He's a very big personality.
Yeah, I bet. So do you guys play anywhere? I mean, you just said like with the private lessons. Do you have like a specific band or whatnot that you play separately from the GHS band?
I auditioned for and got into the Youth Symphony of Kansas City. So the Kansas City has a symphony. A symphony is a string orchestra and winds and brass. So I auditioned in, I got in on tuba, and I've been playing with them for about 3 years now.
Wow.
It is difficult music. It is hard music. It is music that makes me want to go, oh, I don't want to play tuba anymore. But it had the reason why I joined is it's given me so much opportunity to like improve as a musician, to look
Yeah.
at key signatures and look at notes and not freak out.
Of course.
And it's given me the opportunity to like travel. Like last 2 years ago, I went to New York,
Wow.
and this year I'm going to England to tour with them.
Wow. That's awesome. Do you have any?
Not really, honestly. I mean, I do KMEA, Kansas Music Educators
Right.
Association is what it stands for, when it rolls around. But basically, it's just a big convention over a weekend, and band, choir, and orchestra. But
Right.
I mean, I've auditioned in since my freshman year, and just going every year and being a part. I was in the full orchestra my freshman and sophomore year, and just that has been super fun. Learned a lot. Been able to play with strings for the first
Yeah.
time, which is difficult, and the competition in orchestra is insane.
KMEA string players are crazy and scary.
If you ever see anybody, the lists haven't come out yet,
Mm-hmm.
but anybody who makes it to state for orchestra from Gardner, congratulate them, because it's insanely tough, and I could never. Like,
Wow.
it's more complicated and more competitive than I could imagine.
Right.
Because at least
Especially
for,
with all that snowing that was happening.
oh,
Having
worse.
to go and travel and still audition and still be on top of your game, like that takes a lot, even for if you're not in the string. But
Well, and our auditions really quick just got pushed back a week, which kind
Oh.
of threw me off a little
Yeah, I
bit
bet.
because of all the snow that we had last weekend.
I was happy. I got to practice more.
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's
bet. Getting really nervous, and then when it's like time, you're like, oh, just kidding.
Just kidding. You have another week.
Yeah. Practice as much.
I also do pit.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
For the musicals. I've done 3 shows now, maybe
Yeah.
4.
Were you in Chicago?
I've done Oklahoma, Once Upon a Mattress, SpongeBob, and Elf. So I guess 4.
Wow.
But I've played bassoon in all of those. This last one for Elf, I did bassoon and clarinet
Yeah.
because they were like combined parts, and that's really fun. Really time consuming, but very
Yeah, I
very
bet.
fun. And makes a really good community very quickly because we're there for like 5-hour rehearsals, and we kind of just sit there in the pit, and it's
Yeah.
great.
So where is the pit?
Under the stage. So if you go backstage, there's like a staircase that goes down. Scary, concrete, kind of terrifying, but you go down, and then the pit is under the stage. Low ceilings, but it's a pretty decent sized room. If it's a big pit of like 20 people, it gets really crammed.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of fun, and yeah, I love
Yeah.
doing the pits.
Especially since y'all or elbow to elbow, you
Yeah.
kind of get comfortable with each other quickly.
Yep.
And so with the musicals, you have the
Conductor.
yes, I don't know what it's I didn't know what
Mhm.
it's called, and they conduct you from like you can see them, but they're like
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like in between, like the stage itself is about at their chest, so they can see like up above and down
Right.
below. Because not only are they giving the orchestra cues, and like musicals are so hard because there's like a line could take longer or shorter,
right.
and they are also cueing people to sing on stage. So it's doing like up and down.
Wow.
And like you said about lines taking longer, that's one thing that is very like you can't get this experience from anywhere else. But in pit and doing musicals, the music basically changes every night, because you have to play certain things multiple times. And then sometimes if they forget a line and skip something and we move faster, we have to skip to a new part all of a sudden in one show. And
Right.
you don't have time to practice those things.
Right.
So
It's very spontaneous.
And the music is a lot more difficult with these shows. They give sometimes it's just the same show that like professionals do,
Right.
and the music is the same show that professionals do, and it's the same music that professionals play.
Stupidly hard.
And it's really, really hard.
Yeah, I
And
bet.
so trying to look at your music and make sure you're playing it right, and watch to make sure you're playing the
Yes,
right
it's
thing at the right
like-
time. It's, yep,
a lot
exactly.
of multitasking.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it's super fun, and I love doing that.
So now we're talking about music, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what is your favorite song to play personally?
I know we played it a lot, but there's a special place in my heart for Halcyon Hearts by Katash Copley.
Mm-hmm.
We played that for Mr. Biggs's retirement? Question mark?
Or when he left, when Mr. Biggs left,
He didn't retire. He left for KU. There we go. My
Right.
bad.
he was able to conduct the wind ensemble one song at the end of our concert, and that was really nice and a very heartfelt moment for
Yeah.
a lot of us.
It's really well. It's
But
so-
he picked that song for us, and we had a great time playing it. We've both played it multiple times at other things too, and it's just a really good song, super fun to play.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Stars and Stripes. It's just a staple of
Yeah.
band music.
And it just brings back the memories of having that time with,
Absolutely.
yeah.
My favorite song is called The Folk Song of Me Do. It's like a Chinese song. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the person that wrote it, but I've played it. This is my second time playing it now. We just started rehearsing it in wind ensemble like last week, and it's going great. Everyone loves it. I've only heard good things about it,
Yeah.
which is different than most things, because a lot of times people, like, there's just a lot of songs that, not everyone's favorite, which is fine.
Right.
But the first time I played it was at District KMEA last year, and me and then one of the seniors last year, we played it together, and just, it's an amazing song. There's a little bit of everything. You have slow parts, you have fast parts. It's really catchy. I've listened to it a million times. It was in my Apple Music Top 100 last year, which is maybe a little embarrassing, but I loved it. And just getting to play it again, I'm super excited. So.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Don't feel bad about it being the top 100. I was listening to one of the pieces that I played in KMEA last year. It was called Bootleg and Moonshine by Julie Giroux. I didn't realize I was in the 0.005% of listeners, and I streamed that song 1,482 times.
Wow. Wow.
I was just bored.
All right. Well, that is all the questions I have. Is there
Alright.
anything that you just wanted to like throw out there? You can out your do you guys have a GHS band page?
We do.
Should
We have a website that's kind of being built up right now,
right?
and I'm pretty sure that's just GEHS band,
We
something
have
like that.
and then we have the Facebook. We got
Do
a
we?
Facebook.
Yes.
I don't have
so
Facebook, so.
go follow them on the GHS band on Facebook and
The website.
the website, which we'll put a link up on the screen somewhere.
But yeah, I think that's
Do you
it.
want to do you guys' social or anything?
No.
Okay. So that's all we have for this episode. Thank you for listening. But make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify. And the Spotify, down below, we have a Q&A section. So if you have any questions, we will answer them there. Go Blazers!
Go Blazers.